Right. So those of you who are joining in the replay, we've just all shared why we're here, what our desire is for being in this space. And we're just going to transition now. I feel really called to just welcome in all of your inner children. It is like a number one priority for me to create a space where your inner children feel so safe and so held and able to be their full selves. Okay. And they don't have to feel pressure to go faster or farther or feel any pressure to do anything that they don't want to do or they don't feel good about. So as we move forward, we are going to be moving forward kind of our adult selves and our higher selves. I'm invoking them to hold the hands of our inner children. Okay, we're going to walk alongside our inner children and bring them along, and we're just going to go at their pace. How does that feel?
Great.
And I also want to invoke the innocence of our inner children. Okay, that when, some of us explored our sexuality as kids, a lot of us did. And before we took on the programming that this was wrong or shameful, before we took on the conditioning that this is to be done private, before that happened, we were in a space of pure innocence and joy and wonder about our bodies and about the pleasure that they're able to feel and receive and give, right? So I want to really invoke that Edenic space that lives within all of us. Edenic meaning Eden, the Garden of Eden. Okay. So just calling that in to all of us and all of the layers of us that feel maybe uncomfortable with that or feel like, oh, my daughter's name is Eden. How beautiful. Ah, welcoming her. She is that, isn't she? Yeah. So yeah, all the layers of us that feel maybe uncomfortable with that or getting kind of crunchy around that, I'm also welcoming those layers too. All the parts of us that have felt rejected by our parents, by society, by ourselves. You are welcome here too. This is a safe space for all of you. Okay? Amazing. So I feel like a lot of you have probably read my background. You know that or maybe you don't, I'll just go over it quickly. I was raised as a evangelical fundamentalist Christian, and I did not feel safe to explore my sexuality until I was basically 18 years old. My sister had a very different experience. She was touching herself and rubbing herself on things when she was 2 years old. I don't know, just it happened differently for her. And I took on this shame programming that anything to do with my genitals was dirty and you only touch it to wash it, and et cetera, et cetera. And when I was 18, I finally explored myself and started pleasuring myself, and I began having an orgasm. And in that moment, I saw in my third eye like this horned being, this horned god, which I now know is the Pan archetype, the nature god, and exist in collective consciousness. But then all the reference I had for that was that's a demon, that's Satan. And I had this fear that I was making love to the devil and that I had committed this great sin. And I literally, this energy came on me, and it was like the explosion that was happening in my pussy began imploding on itself. And then it got sucked up almost like in a black hole and locked up in my system and in my body for 8 years after that. I was not able to access orgasm. I was not able to access much pleasure. I got married at 21 and sex was painful. It was kind of a tragedy. I went to all kinds of doctors, all kinds of specialists trying to see what was wrong with me. And I'm just going to pin myself here. And there was nothing wrong. They were like, you need to explore yourself. And they couldn't even really tell me it was like the religious shame. I don't even remember them ever indicating that to me. So it's something I had to find out on my own. And when I was 25, I started looking for books on sacred sexuality, slow sex, and I started opening to some other concepts about sexuality. And I found a vibrator. I found Betty Dodson and her empowerment programs, and then for 7 years I was only able to orgasm with the vibrator. And even when I was using a vibrator, what unlocked it fully was me looking out a window and connecting with the energy of a tree and feeling like, wow, the innocence of the tree, feeling the innocence of the tree blossoms and the bees that come to pollinate the tree blossoms, like really the birds and the bees, you know? And I felt this energy, this fertility, this virility of nature, and how nature is like making love to herself all the time, and how sexuality is so pure. And it was that finally let my body relax enough and allowed my orgasm to start moving through my body. And I released in an orgasm for the first time in so many years when I was 20. And then I could only orgasm with a vibrator for the next 7 years until I found a very dark masculine twin flame connection who started unlocking me. I was also doing many tantric practices and tantric initiations, Kundalini yoga, and things were unlocking. And then I was able to, he played my body like a fine-tuned instrument. I did not even know what my body could do. And he revealed it to me. And then that was a 4-month, very fiery relationship. And by the end of it, I had a Kundalini awakening in a tantric initiation. And during this Kundalini awakening, we were in a group, we were in this human battery where we had one hand on the person to our right and one on their neck and the other person's sacrum. And we were breathing together and doing this ha breath and moving the sexual energy. We're fully clothed, just moving sexual energy, pulsing our PC muscles, moving it up into our hearts and saying ha, 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 over and over again. And all of a sudden I felt this like orgasm start in my pussy and start to like ripple in my belly and then move up into my heart. And, you know, part of me was like, can I have an orgasm in front of all these people? And like, I've always wanted to have an orgasm without touch. And is this the moment? And like all my thoughts were going. And then finally, I just was like, man, I gotta let this happen. I gotta just let it rip. And I did. And I had this rip-roaring orgasm with everybody there. And it didn't stop. I continued to vibrate. And after we had closed the circle, I was still like shaking like mad and feeling like really orgasmic. And I just kept wanting to be like, mm-hmm. And I went to my teacher and I said, like, it's not stopping. What's going on? And she was like, oh, honey, like you're having a Shakti Kundalini experience, like you're having a Kundalini awakening. And I was like, I've been praying for this for 10 years, you know? And she's like, yeah, you can go and ground your energy, lie down on the floor, or sorry, you can go and eat some food and ground your energy. And she's going to continue on her own time. It doesn't have to be right now. Or you can go and lay down on a yoga mat and just let the waves take over you. And I was like, no question, I am going to lay down. So I went and lay down on this yoga mat, and Shakti Ma she literally, as soon as I lay down, it was like a massive wave of convulsion. And it continued for over an hour of me crying, laughing hysterically, uncontrollably, weeping, screaming. I could feel her spinning out my chakras. I was seeing visions. I was seeing past life stuff. And this happened for over an hour. And there's much more to that story, but to condense it, after that, I was able to have orgasms by breath and thought alone. Something fully unlocked. And it was like my dreams were coming true. Yeah. And not only that, the practices that I was learning in my tantric initiations, I was learning how to move this energy and clear my blocks and move it into my higher energy centers. And it began changing my brain chemistry, changing my body chemistry. And I started having my creativity open up in a massive way. And for the last couple of years, I've been diving deep into my artistry as a performer and a playwright and a writer. And these things I've wanted to do my entire life, and they're finally coming on board. It's through these practices. So this is so much more This is the secret of this all. Like, you think you're here to like have a full body orgasm or like open your orgasmic capacity, but you're actually here to meet your soul. Surprise! Like, more of your soul and more of what your soul wants to do here in your body. Yeah. But we start with pleasure. We start with pleasure, and we start with moving this orgasmic energy and learning that we can move sexual energy beyond just the genitals. So I want to ask right now, what would you say is one of the main blocks for you from being able to experience a full body orgasm or energy orgasm? Okay, so energy orgasm, I will say, is for me, it's something that happens without touch necessarily. Okay, it happens just from like breathing and feeling, breathing with a tree, breathing with this moment, and getting so deep into it that your sexual energy rises, your life force energy, and full body orgasm. Full body orgasm can be with touch, with sex, with all these things. And it's very similar to energy orgasm. I think they're kind of one and the same. But when I say energy-gasm or energy O, I'm usually referring to no penetration, no genital touch. And when I say full body O, it could be anywhere from penetrative sex and touch and all the other things. Okay? That's kind of my distinction and differentiation of them. Make sense? Someone else might have different definitions, but that's kind of where I'm at with it. Yeah, and so I would love to hear what you feel is your number one block to experiencing this. If you have experienced them, to experiencing them consistently, or if you've never experienced, what do you think your block is? Or in general, what do you think humanity's block is towards this? You can type it in the chat or unmute yourself. Yes, Mustafa.
Yeah, I would say the first answer like came up is I'm not good enough.
Yeah. That's the number one. That's one of the very number one things. There's probably more, but I've distilled it down to about 5. Layla Martin talks about 5 as well. And that's a big one. Not feeling worthy or good enough that you are able to have this gift in your life. And that's also tied in with self-loathing, and self-deprecation. And so what do you think the antidote to this is?
I deserve it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's literally reprogramming yourself with self-love.
Mhm.
And
I
it is literally sending that unconditional love to the places in your body and your being, and especially your genitals, that need it. And that's along with verbal affirmations of this. Your words are spells, and they change your reality, and they change your operating system, your programming.
Yeah, I believe this.
Yes. Yeah.
I have been working on myself like for the past 6 years, and I have seen some changes regarding my sex life and pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned a couple of new techniques during this journey. And in the past like few days, I had the best sex ever in my life, and it was wow. I'm so proud of myself, you know.
This
But
is so key. Letting yourself be proud of yourself and actually celebrating yourself. How often, when we achieve something that we've been desiring, how often do we take time aside to actually celebrate ourselves for it and give ourselves that positive feedback and affirmation and reaffirmation?
exactly.
So, yeah, so happy for you. So proud of you too. Amazing.
Thank you.
Okay. And then Sophia says here, I think it's a lack of exploration or time spent. I don't spend that much time leaning into this area of my life. 100%. This stuff is just like anything in life, that's, worth you going after and experiencing. It's going to take time, and it's going to take putting the reps in. It's like going to the gym. If you want to see results, you got to go to the gym. So if you want to see results in awakening your pleasure capacity or expanding your orgasmic capacity, you got to put the reps in. You got to take that time spent in self-love. And I'm going to give you guys the keys for a beautiful self-love practice today. And you're going to have the replay to watch it over and play it again. You know, there are literal, it's a formula, there are ingredients that you can add to your self-pleasure practice, your self-pleasure meditation that I would recommend doing every day if you can, but even just like 3 days a week, even 1 day a week, you know, is better than a lot of us do. So yeah, putting the reps in for full body O's. Yeah, exactly. Anyone have any other thoughts about it? What's the block for you?
Hi, Amy Ann. It's Tiffany.
Hi, Tiffany.
So good to have you. But since our workshop last month, I would definitely say the biggest thing for me is feeling safe and giving myself time. That was one of the biggest things that I've realized.
Yes.
Like I don't give myself time to meditate and just be with my body and just no schedule, you know, or meeting the next goal kind of thing. So that's definitely what I've realized since working with you.
Thank you. And I think you mentioned here another one of the main blocks that I've identified that I see in my clients a lot is being too goal oriented.
Yes,
If you
definitely
feel that you have to achieve it, and it's like, pussy or cock, why aren't you, you have to, I have to, you know, it's literally doing the opposite of what you think. The tantric approach to things, or the neo-tantric approach to things, is one of the first things we do is we throw expectations and goals out the window. And we let off that pressure valve that we put on ourselves, that this has to happen, or it says something about my worth, or it says something about my value, or whatever. We got to delete all of that. And we got to get so present to this moment and what the sensation is in the body in this moment. And it might feel like absolute garbage, and you might end up feeling like you're in the hell realms in your being, but you get so present into what actually is happening, and that is when the magic happens. It might not be pleasurable at first, and you're going to be with whatever is there. We throw away the goals. Amazing.
I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
love it.
that was the one I was going to mention. Dropping expectations, because and that is even from week to week or month to month, like, because things just keep changing. But dropping the long-standing expectations. But that goes for life overall. It's not just in what we're talking about, right? I'm learning to drop expectations around everything, and it's the toughest thing, I think, as a human, for me anyway.
Yeah. You know, we're so programmed to have that masculine structure and way of being, and be thinking chronologically and with goals in mind. And there's nothing wrong with that in the end. But our culture is so bent on that. And it's an over focus, a hyper focus on it, I find. And that's what causes the imbalance. And that's what causes so much stress and diseases and sicknesses that come from stress and the stress responses in our bodies, etc. You know? Yeah. So the balance. Yes, Tamara. Or, Hope.
That's okay. Thanks so much. I think for me, I have a number of sexual trauma things, history, experiences, we'll call them. And I have worked through a lot of that, but I find that I would like to have the same kind of level of surrender with another human as I do by myself. So what I think what happens is that when I'm by myself, I don't have to really think about it, because my mind's not involved. Mm-hmm. But when there's a partner, my nervous system's involved, my mind's involved. So maybe that is actually what I want to get out of this session, is that nervous system that I need to bypass somehow, or somehow figure out how to allow myself to surrender to. I have a really hard time when there's a partner, and I really enjoy sex with a partner, but I have a really hard time. And so it only ever goes so far. But by myself, it's like epic. So I'm kind of hoping to bridge that gap somehow. Because it's also shyness, but I haven't really identified what it is actually. I think it's just a nervous system thing. They do say, I did read somewhere and I don't know. So I'm kind of curious about what you have to say about this, is that the neural pathways for trauma response is the exact same for sexual arousal. So if your body is getting confused, that you can actually have a trauma response. So I often have to be like, during any kind of like sexual encounter with another person, I have to constantly convince my brain that I'm okay. Like, it's fine. I chose this. We're good. Like, everything's fine. And it's kind of distracting, really. So I kind of would like to figure out how to do that. So yeah, to transfer that level of surrender, I don't know how to do that with another person.
Thank you.
So I don't know what exactly that block is, but yeah, I don't know. So.
That's one of the main blocks that I've identified as well, is the fear of surrender,
Okay.
whether myself or another. It has to do with the safety feeling, and your nervous system not feeling safe, but also the ego and the egoic mind, the structures and how we identify ourselves, really holding on to a certain way of thinking, a certain way of being, because orgasm, as we know, I haven't defined it yet for you guys, but one of the parts of a definition of orgasm in my mind is that your mind goes somewhere else, or your mind shuts off in a way. And unless that happens in an orgasmic experience, we kind of don't feel fully satisfied. If the mind is still fully functional and we're still kind of like trying to control and stuff, then it doesn't feel like we've actually had an orgasm. So what is the antidote to the fear of surrender is literally surrender and surrender and surrender and practicing surrendering again. And it starts with yourself, and it's amazing. You have your self-pleasure practices, but it literally is a practice of surrendering to your nervous system, surrendering to your DNA, surrendering to this magical seed that is within you of your ancestral gift and your birthright gift of being able to receive limitless amounts of pleasure, and trusting that your body knows what to do, and facing the fear and trusting again, and facing the desire to control and surrendering again, and just like slowly sinking, melting and going deeper and deeper. Yeah, it's a big one. Mustafa? You're muted. Okay.
I have something to share with Tamara. She mentioned something about sexual traumas, and I had a similar experience in the past, and it was like a big major in my sex life, and it played like a big. But I couldn't move on until like I faced my trauma and I dealt with it. And I would say forgiving and letting go would help with this. And I hope this could be helpful.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
And also training the nervous system that it is safe. But if there is a consistent trigger of the trauma, then yeah, you got to go to the root of the traumatic experience and bring the love there and rewrite that story so that your nervous system isn't set off in the same way. I want to mention that the ejaculation response in men is a sympathetic nervous system response, which is a stress response. So in order to prevent ejaculation, or to be able to control when you ejaculate, you need to be able to bring your body into parasympathetic states, which is the rest, reset, relax, and digest state. Okay, so I'm going to be giving you keys for that. That's the main key for men who are trying to have full body non-ejaculatory orgasms. And it's the same for women. It's teaching your body that it is safe and bringing yourself into these parasympathetic states training the nervous system. We're going to be doing some breath work for this today. Okay. Yeah, amazing. So a couple that we haven't mentioned are limiting beliefs around sex. So believing that sex is just physical and that it's not energetic or spiritual. I don't have a feeling that everybody here probably doesn't have that, but for the general public, that's a thing. And the belief that maybe sexual energy is just in the genitals. And that's simply not true. Our whole body is sexual and can run sexual energy. Sexual energy is creative life force energy. It's creation energy. It's how we got here. Every cell of our body can turn into a mini clitoris. Go figure. I can touch my pinky finger and I can have a rip-roaring orgasm. Yeah. And everyone has that ability to open that. And then, oh yeah, the other one is holding back. So, it's so powerful how we hold ourselves back from fully letting go into our fullest expression. And the antidote for that is sounding. It's going to be making sound and letting your throat open and letting yourself express the pleasure that is running through your body and wants to run through you. Okay, so we're going to be practicing the antidotes to these things. The other antidote to holding back is breathing, deep belly breathing, and some of these nervous system balancing breath that I'm going to be teaching you. Okay, amazing. Any questions so far? You can always raise your hand if you have a question, but okay. So we're going to go into the recipe. And I have different forms of this recipe. Today, we're focusing on orgasmic expansion. So that is your body's ability to receive more pleasure and to hold more pleasure in your nervous system and to be able to move that pleasure energy and orgasmic energy into other parts of your body, to expand into full body orgasm or energy orgasm, okay? And then I have some other versions that are for transmuting your pain, your shame, your shadows, whatever it is, into pleasure, and other ones for manifesting the life of your dreams or turning on your creative genius. Those are for later. But today we're focused on orgasmic expansion. So I'm hoping that everybody has a private, safe place that they can be putting together the ingredients of this recipe. I'm going to be guiding you through a practice in a moment. So in a moment, you'll be turning off your screens and getting your little nest set up. So if you are in a bedroom or living room, you can be on the bed, but I actually recommend being on the floor for this, on a flatter surface. So if you want to put a blanket down or a yoga mat or some cushions, and ideally you don't have a cushion behind your head, but if that's too uncomfortable, you can put a cushion behind your head. That's okay. I personally like to practice kind of laying flat back. We're not going to fully lay down yet. Let me just see. I think I have, yeah. We're going to sit up. We're going to go through a little bit of a meditation and an activation, and then we're going to do some body clearing, just a quick body clearing exercise to clear the channels and do some emotional clearing. And then we're going to lay down flat with our knees up, and we're going to go into the practice. How does that sound? Good? Okay, sweet. So for this part, it's up to you. You can turn your camera off. We're not touching our genitals or anything in this part. Or you can leave your camera on because it's nice to see your faces. And the other thing is, and when we do get to some of the deeper parts of the practice, you don't ever have to touch your genitals through this whole thing. Like, you only will touch your body where it feels absolutely aligned and absolutely right. And that might be, you might not even want to touch any part. If you start tuning in and it's like, whoa, my body doesn't even want any touch right now. It just wants me just to presence it with my energy and hands just hovering over. It could just be light touch on the face. It could be just stroking your hair. Okay? You are going to be listening to yourself at the deepest level you've ever listened to yourself. And if you can't, and there's resistance to that, that's okay. You're getting the entrainment, you're getting the transmission, and you get to practice this on your own later. Okay, but we're going. This is the intention of this. Is you're going to just presence yourself so deeply. You're going to give yourself exactly what you need in each moment, and you're not going to override it with your brain thinking, "Oh, I should be feeling this way, or I should be touching myself this way," etc. Make sense? Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna just play some music, and let me know if you can still hear me okay, even with the music going. Still getting used to all this technology stuff. And we're just gonna come into a seated position with your back straight. And you can have your hands on your knees or on your thighs. And if it feels good to you and safe, you can close down your eyes. You can be sitting on a chair, on the floor, on a couch, bed, wherever it may be. And I'm going to ask you to start taking some really deep low belly breaths. And if it feels good, you can place one hand over your lower belly, your lower abdomen, and just notice the rising and falling of your hands. The rising as you inhale. You can inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. And see if you can just make the exhales a little bit longer than the inhales. And now you're going to place your other hand just over your heart center. Actually, I'd love for you to tap 3 times over your heart center. Just activate your heart. And just call upon your deepest inner wisdom, your innermost being, your deepest core. To be with you in this practice. So from here, we're invoking sacred space. We're invoking temple space. And I like to imagine a golden dragon's egg of protection around me. You can imagine a golden bubble, whatever color really resonates with you. And I want you to really bring yourself into a space where you feel safe and your inner children feel safe. So if that means imagining, something from your childhood, imagining your favorite place to be on earth, somewhere where you and your nervous system just can fully let go and relax. And from this space, you can even give yourself a little hug, a little squeeze. And you can tell your nervous system aloud or quietly or in your mind, I am safe. There are no predators out to get me. And to indicate this to your nervous system even deeper, you can lightly open your eyes and you can look around your room and you can name 4 objects aloud or in your mind, going from left to right, looking from left to right, and just letting your eyes light upon 4 different objects and naming them. And if ever you feel triggered, if ever you have a trauma response or any kind of old trauma coming up during this practice or any other, this is a technique you can come back to, of squeezing your arms, telling yourself you're safe, and then literally looking around the room and showing your nervous system and your limbic brain, your primal brain, that there are no predators out to get you. You can also, massage your thighs, just like really ground yourself into your body as you're looking around and as you're telling yourself you're safe. You might want to even give yourself a little shoulder squeeze. Just giving your body what it needs in this moment to feel the vibration, the frequency of safety and of groundedness. You can feel your feet on the earth, and you can even inhale through your heart and exhale down into your legs, down your knees, and down into your feet. Inhaling through the heart and exhaling down into your feet. And you can even feel your feet spreading really wide on the earth, imagining them becoming like giant's feet on the earth energetically. And just exhaling a little longer than those inhales, letting your belly really puff out. So here in sacred space, in this golden egg or bubble, this is where you get to know yourself. And you express and experience things out of the ordinary in this ritual space. This space keeps you safe and protected. Here we are practicing self-love and compassion. And it's in here that you can call in any guides or helpers. You can call in your healed and whole ancestors, earthly or star ancestors, any spiritual teachers that you work with. Just calling them in, invoking them, calling in all of our healed and whole ancestors to help us with this deep work as we activate our bliss body and we heal through pleasure. We heal multi-generations through pleasure. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You can exhale and make any kind of sound you want to on the exhale. Maybe your body is wanting to find a little bit of movement right now in these energies. From this space, we're going to begin to tap into our future self. Okay? So this is the future self, the higher self, the self in the quantum field of your highest timeline. The timeline that's aligned with the highest good for all, the law of one, the law of love. Because your highest good is the highest good for everybody. Connecting with that self. And you're going to connect with the self that has already experienced full body orgasms, non-ejaculatory for men, full body energy orgasms for all genders. That self that has fully unlocked his or herself and has limitless capacity for pleasure. Connecting with that version of you because he or she already exists outside of time and they are looking back at this moment, smiling upon you and sending their love. So I want you to feel and breathe in their frequencies. They've already got the templating, okay? You're invoking them from the quantum and you're calling them into every cell of your body right now. It's already done. You're already one. Hey. Breathing and feeling, welcoming them, thanking them. They are you. And you can ask them now for any support that you need for this journey. They're going to give you a lot of support because this version of you is what got you to them. They became who they are because of what you're doing right now. So they're super excited to support you. Yeah. Breathing and feeling. Okay. Thank you, future selves. So now we're going to invoke the unconditional love field. And you can do this. I usually coach people to do this by imagining someone, human or animal, that they've loved unconditionally in this lifetime. And you can do that and start feeling your heart opening towards them. But I'm feeling really called with this particular group to have you connect with that future self and feel the love they have for you. Feeling the unconditional love your future self has for this version of them in this space-time continuum, this moment of your soul's embodiment. And I want you just to open your heart and receive whatever you can receive from this love. And then I want you to connect with a past version of you who needs this version of you, this love from this version of you. You are the higher self, the future self of the past versions of you. Can you now, through the quantum field, open that portal in your heart and send that love back in time? Send the coding back in time to the past version that needs to get the map to where you are. Yeah. Well done. You can tap on your heart a little more if you like. And then I'd love for you to just start, if it feels good, and if it's a yes in your body, you can take your hands or you can hover them above and just start doing some little circles around your chest, around your breasts or your nipples, and just start breathing. And it's like you're spreading this unconditional love like butter around your chest, okay? So inhaling, spread the love, exhale, collect it at the bottom of the heart center. Inhale, let it water fountain around you. Exhale, and then collect it. And then if it feels good, you can reverse the direction. So bringing that love and pouring it back inside yourself. That love that you give to so many people in your life. All that energy you expend loving others, helping others, giving them that unconditional blessing of your soul. Can you turn it back on yourself now and start pouring it into your own body, your own DNA, your own self? And if it feels good, you can spread this love now down the center line of your being towards your pubic mound, but not touching your genitals yet. Just kind of getting into any tight spaces in your lower abdomen, any tight spaces around your chest, the intercostal muscles that hold so much tension in between our rib cage. Deep breaths. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling a little longer on the exhales through the mouth. And then you can also just spread this love wherever it needs to go in the body. So it could be other places, your shoulders, your face, just like bask in that love. Bask in a love, baby. This is who you truly are. It's not something outside of you. Yeah. Okay, amazing. So just breathing and feeling, taking that all in and using the breath to really imbibe this. It's like you're drinking it into every cell that needs it right now in yourself. And now I want you to, we're gonna bring this love to our genitals in a moment, but not quite yet. Okay, we're going to specifically go there. First, we're going to activate the body a little bit more. So far we've done 2 of the points of this bliss recipe. Well, 3 actually. We set up sacred ritual space, number 1. We've done a future self meditation, number 2. And we've opened an unconditional love and blessing field, number 3. Okay. Now we're going to do number 4. We're going to activate the body. And we're going to do a bit of an emotional release. So I'm going to have you in a moment. I know you're all basking in the love field. It's so beautiful. We're going to bring this love into movement. So we're going to stand up in this love. And we're going to do some shaking. So shaking medicine is super important for breaking up stuck and stagnant energy. And it also is a way to alchemize dense emotions or stuck emotions in the body. So you can start by just kind of bouncing on your heels and then bringing that bouncing and shaking up into the torso, into the buttocks. One of my teachers lived in a tantric ashram in Thailand for a while. And at one point they were doing shaking medicine for 9 hours a day. And people were going into full trances. They were having massive Kundalini experiences, DMT release. It's very powerful to shake. So just letting your body shake right now. And you can open the jaw and you can begin releasing sound. Whatever is stuck in the body and wants to move, we move it through sound, breath, and movement or motion. Okay, so breathing into those tight spaces and exhaling, open mouth, open jaw. Inhaling deep, exhaling. You can try sticking out the tongue, lion's breath, to really have an extra release. Inhaling deep and full, exhaling. Now try horse lips. Get silly with it. Get into the elbow joints. We hold a lot of stuck shit in our elbow joints, the different joints of the body. Shake that booty. There's so much sexual energy and survival energy that gets stuck in our booties, so just shake that out. We're turning our survival energy into thrival energy in these practices. So we want to break up where we've been holding on and trying to control, where we've been in fear vibration. Opening the chest, opening the heart. Okay, very good. Now we're going to go a little bit deeper. We're going to do something called the ha breath. And we're going to marry that with some hip thrusts. So we're going to be activating some sexual energy with this and doing some deeper emotional release. So I would love for you to connect with that feeling of the block that you connected with when we were talking about the main blockages to being able to have full body orgasms, energy orgasms. I want you to connect with that block in yourself, whatever that may be. Breathe into your body and see where it lives. And ask for a 1-sentence phrase of what it is. And this is going to be phrased negatively. So something like, I am not worthy. Or my body doesn't function that way. Or I'm too afraid to surrender. Whatever the negative belief is, tune into yourself, tune into your soul, and ask for that one phrase belief that is blocking you. Okay? The old story. And I want you to breathe into your body and see where it might be living. It lives somatically in the flesh. So just kind of, if you're getting like, I'm getting some cramps all in my womb space, It's the first day of my moon. So it's really cramping, but I've got some stuff that's in there that's really wanting to move. So I'm going to start massaging it, and I'm going to feel into where the stuck energy is in my body, and I'm going to start moving it, breathing into it, feeling it, massaging it, breathing, moving it with breath, sounds, and motion. Okay? And then once you've accessed the negative belief and you've found kind of whereabouts it might be living in the body, we're going to start moving it even more with this ha breath and motion. Okay? So the motion is like this. We're going to kind of like stick out our butts a little bit, and then we're going to come forward, and we're going to squeeze our butts forward as we thrust forward our pelvic floor. Okay, so we're squeezing and we're thrusting forwards, and imagining we all have a giant cosmic cock that is penetrating the universe. Okay, and we're going to be making this sound. Ha, 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 ha. And you're going to imagine that you're breaking through your blocks with this, or wherever the block is living, wherever the belief is living in the body, it's going to start being broken up and dissolving and moving with this motion, with this sounding through your throat. And you can make it a guttural sound like huh, huh, huh. Okay, really get into your animal body. And I want you to squeeze your butt. You're going to be squeezing your butt to really break up more of this survival energy. Okay, huh, 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 huh. You can stick out your tongue. Want you to do this for 30 more seconds, as full as you can make it, as full and deep as you can make it. Keep going, keep going. Go as deep as you can. Really dig in there, releasing those blockages, releasing that old belief. That old story, it's just an old story. It's ready to go. That's why you're here. We are story weavers. We storytell our own lives. We are the creators and creatrixes of our life tales. What new story are you wanting to weave? Let this one go. Let it go. 10 more seconds. Go even deeper. I'll get louder than I am. I'm trying to be quiet for people upstairs, but okay, now shake it all out. Shake it all out. Let it all go. Yes, let it all go. Transmuting it, giving it to the earth. She can compost it. Good. Okay. So that was step 4. Now we're going to come into body presence, step 5. Okay, body awareness. And you can do this either standing right now or sitting, or if you're ready to lie down, feel free to lie down. And what you're going to do is you're going to place one hand, I like doing it this way, placing one hand over heart center, one hand over your energetic womb space, or your womb space in between your hips. And you're just going to scan in your mind's eye the sensations in your body right now. And you're going to speak them aloud. So I'm going to give you an example. Right now, I'm aware of the sweaty heat all around my chest. I can feel the pulse of my heart in my womb space and in my lower back. I feel like a tightening in my womb space. I feel an opening and an expansion in my chest. Okay. So I want you to describe what you are feeling using adjectives, and it can be, it's like hot, cold, expanded, contracted. I feel a windy feeling. I feel a fiery feeling, electric, magnetic, okay? Things like this, and speak it aloud. This is going to help your mind come out of thinking brain and come into the body, to drop into the animal form. It's a very important technique, and you're going to practice it speaking aloud. So keep doing that for a few moments. Speaking aloud whatever is in your body. Speak aloud the things that feel negative. And we're going to try not to judge. Okay, we're trying to bring in the neutral witness that is just the witness of what is happening here and now without placing a value judgment on it. I'm feeling sharp stabbing sensation in my lower abdomen or my lower back, whatever it may be. Describe it in adjectives. Try not to place a value judgment. It's pure sensation. What a gift that you have a body and you have multiple senses to feel all of these things. Okay, very good. Now we're going to go into some pelvic awakening breath. So at this point, I would love for you to lie down flat with your knees bent. Ideally, no pillow under your head. And this breath is going to drop you even deeper into a parasympathetic nervous system response and drop your mind into the body further. So you get to choose whether you're going to breathe in through the mouth or the nose. Breathing through the mouth drops you further into your animal body. And you're going to breathe out through the mouth on every exhale. So with everybody in this room, I would actually suggest try breathing in through your mouth and out through your mouth right now. Okay? Let the out breath be longer than the inhales. And now I want you to imagine that you're actually breathing in and out of your genitals. Okay? So for women, you're breathing in and out of your vulva and vagina. And for men, you're breathing in and out of your cock and or your testicles. Okay? It's as if your genitals are a mouth and you're breathing in through open mouth and out through open mouth. In through open mouth, out, and elongating the exhales out through open mouth. Imagining that your genitals are the mouth. You're breathing in through your genitals and out through your genitals. Breathing in that sacred earth energy up into your genitals. And exhaling and releasing whatever is no longer serving you. Breathing in that unconditional love from that love field we all created, that love from our future selves and our present selves, bringing that love in, breathing it into the genitals, letting it coat, letting it penetrate every part of your genitals, and then releasing anything that is not in alignment with that love. Bringing the love in, reminding every part of your genitals that they are holy, they are sacred, they are pure, they are divine. Breathing out any part of you that doesn't believe this. Any part. Are we fully relaxing genitals? You can fully relax them right now while we do this part. But the next level to this part is actually to bring in a PC pulse, a PC squeeze, and a PC release as you inhale and exhale. So it might feel really good for you to inhale and squeeze the pelvic floor. So you can also focus on the perineum in between the vagina and the anus, or in between the testicles and the anus, that perineum, that soft spot. You can imagine pulling that up and in the muscles, or think about your bathroom muscles. Pull it up and in on the inhale, and exhale and relax, and almost like push down, like elongate the muscles. Inhale, exhale, and try the inhales with the open mouth. You can't get this wrong. I want to just let everybody know you can't get it wrong. So you can do it without the pulses or with, whatever feels really good to you. We're bringing our mind into the body. And it might feel better for you to actually exhale and squeeze and inhale and release. Try it out. See what you prefer. What does your body prefer in this moment? Sometimes it feels more natural to actually squeeze on the exhale because your belly is contracting on the exhale, or it's coming in to push the air out. And so it might feel more natural to squeeze the PC muscles on the exhale. And inhale, relax. Etc. Okay, so we're bringing whatever pattern you're doing, you're bringing in love and you're releasing the block. You're releasing the old story. Inhale the new story. I am worthy. Exhale the old story. So really connecting with that future self again. What is the new story? And connecting with your innermost being. What is the true story of your being that's wanting to be woven as the new operating system? Right? It's going to be the opposite of what the old story was, but you might have a beautiful phrase come to you. I am worthy of full body orgasm. I am multi-orgasmic. I have orgasms through thought alone. I am a cosmic sex queen. I am a cosmic sex witch. I'm fully in my pleasure. I express my pleasure fully without shame, whatever it may be. I have multiple non-ejaculatory orgasms. I'm a sex god. Own it. You can speak it aloud as you're breathing. Imprint and implant this new program as you're breathing in through your genitals and exhaling the old story. Breathe in the new story. My genitals are pure. Exhale. My genitals are holy. My pleasure is holy. My pleasure is pure. I allow myself pleasure. I allow myself infinite pleasure. Okay, beautiful. Now we're going to bring the body scanning to your genitals. So before we were kind of naming any sensation in the body. Now I want you to focus all of your attention to the genitals. Okay, that region, your buttocks, your anus, your perineum, your vulva, your vagina, your clitoris, your cock, the tip of your cock, your testicles. I want you to breathe into this whole region, and I want you to feel, and I want you to name aloud the sensations you're feeling here. Maybe it's numbness, and that's okay. That's where you're at. That's perfect. Maybe it's electric. Maybe it's buzzing. Maybe it's starting to feel pleasurable. Maybe it's hot. Maybe it's cool. Whatever is here is exactly what's supposed to be here in this moment for you. Good. Now we're on to step 7. We are going to bring pleasure to the sensations, okay? So whatever sensation you are experiencing in the body, even if it's numbness, even if it's painful, or you would judge it as negative, you're gonna start bringing pleasure. And you can bring pleasure however it feels good. So I want you to tune in to your truest self. And I want that innermost being, that highest self, that soul essence, that eternal soul essence of you. I want you to just invite it to just fill up your arms, your hands, and pour itself through every fingertip. And you are going to presence yourself the way you've always desired a lover to presence you. And you are going to just tune in, where is my body longing for my eternal self, my eternal soul to touch her? Where does she or he need to be worshipped in this moment? How slowly, how tenderly, how lightly do I need to be touched? Presence yourself and touch yourself in a way maybe you've never done before. And if you think you're ready to go near your genitals, I want you to ask your genitals permission first. Before your fingers light upon them, ask for permission. Are you ready? Is this okay? May I touch you? May I do this practice with you? And wait for the yes or no response in your body. And then, if it's a yes, touch them slower and lighter than you ever have. Letting go of all ideas of what's supposed to feel pleasurable. What feels pleasurable to you in this now moment? Past you is not this version of you, this now version. Future you is not this now version. The only thing real is now. What feels good now? And you're going to continue to breathe the open mouth breathing, imagining the breath coming in through the genitals and out through the genitals. You can continue that PC pull up and release, pull up and release as you're bringing pleasure anywhere that feels good on your body. And it might just feel good to hover and send energy. Do some energy work, okay? Bring the pleasure. Send the pleasure to the sensations. You can name the sensation aloud again, whatever sensation you're feeling in the genitals, and then bring the pleasure to it. See if you can link it up. Mind-body connection. Send the pleasure to the sensations through intention, breath, and touch. I'm going to play some more music. Very good. Continue this. Now we're going to bring in the next step, which is sound. Okay? You're going to sound out your pleasure. I find masculine beings tend to want to not make sounds. You're really kinking your garden hose of pleasure potential when you don't use your throat. When you open your throat and you make sound, you allow your body to move as one whole, to express as one whole. Your throat and your genitals are intimately entwined. They are both creation portals. What happens in your throat happens in your genitals and vice versa. Allow them to be connected and make that sound. Sometimes this is called lyrical breath. On every exhale, let your pelvis, your genitals, your anus, your buttocks, your womb, your tailbone make sound through your throat. Let your pleasure or whatever sensation, it could be a painful sensation, uncomfortable sensation, whatever the sensation is, let it sound through you. Give yourself permission to be animal, to be ugly, to make ugly sounds. What is real right now? Let it come through you, through your throat. Exhale and make that sound. Breathing into the genitals and exhale whatever sound the genitals want to make. It doesn't matter if you feel dumb. It doesn't matter if you're embarrassed. This isn't about anybody else. This is about you meeting more of you. Good. Now, can you let your hips and pelvic region move how they want to? Okay, so if you're lying down with your knees bent, this can be thrusting, can be bouncing, shaking, circling, spiraling. Try slower or faster movements. Give permission to your wise animal body to surrender to and move the Kundalini energy how it wants to, move the orgasmic energy how it wants to. So I can demonstrate. So as you're breathing, you can tilt your hips, you can move them like this, you can bounce your hips, as you're bringing pleasure to your whole body. Try bouncing, try shaking, try figure eights, spiraling. Whatever feels good to you, just move in the energy and make sounds. Release whatever sensation is happening through you, through sound. Letting your hips and pelvic region move how they want to. Okay? And at this point, if you haven't been touching your genitals, perhaps you want to. Ask them first. Get some lube, use some saliva, some oil, or just touch on the outside of the clothes, whatever feels right and true to you. But tying the ingredients together. Inhales and exhales through an open mouth. Longer exhales than inhales. Make sound. Bring pleasure to the sensation. Name the sensation aloud if you feel yourself getting caught in your head. Name what's happening in your body. Bring the love to what's happening in your body. Yes. Say yes. Yes. Can you say yes to yourself? Yes. Say yes to yourself. More yes. Yes to more of yourself. Yes to more of your pleasure. Good. Yes. I'm feeling y'all. Beautiful. Now we're going to move the sexual energy. Okay, if you haven't felt it moving beyond your genitals yet, we're going to move it. Okay, so we're going to use visualization, breath, touch, intention. We're going to imagine it moving up into your body, into the different energy centers, even if you can't feel it tonight. Okay, even if you can't feel it moving, we're training your body and your nervous system that these are the passageways. And with reps put in, you're going to be able to feel it. So, and for men, you don't want to, when you're doing these practices, you don't want to take yourself beyond like an 8 out of 10, 10 being ejaculation. When you reach about an 8, you want to slow down your breath even more. And you want to start breathing the energy and moving the energy up inside your body. You're going to breathe and move the orgasmic feeling up inside. So you can touch your genitals with one hand, and you can use your other hand to coax the energy upwards. So you're pleasuring yourself, and you're going to begin moving the energy from the genitals upwards. Okay, I like to use a stirring motion or circling motion and my breath. So I'm inhaling and bringing it up, and I might be squeezing my PC muscles to pump the energy up as well. Sound in ha. The sounds of ha and tone the vagus nerve and tell the nervous system that you're safe and that it's safe to feel pleasure. The sounds of and ah, and also yes, the sound yes. So pleasuring yourself and circling this pleasure energy and seeing if you can fill up your abdomen with this pleasure energy. Okay, good. And then we're going to start moving it up a little further, up into the heart. Let it open your heart with this energy. Let your heart expand. See if you can open your chest a little more. Use the PC squeezes to move the energy, to pump the energy up. Even if you can't feel it, you're training your body the passageways. Squeeze and pump the energy up into your heart. Imagine it filling up your heart with the light of your creative life force energy, of your sexual energy. And now we're going to move it. See if you can let it, you can feel it in your heart. Now we're going to move it even further up into the thymus gland, the high heart. Squeezing and pumping and feeling, pleasuring yourself. Up from the thymus gland into the throat. And if you lose it and you can't feel it, if it gets stuck down here, you can just come back and just kind of spread it again like butter and just keep moving it and keep imagining it moving through your body, moving up through the body like a fountain of life force, a fountain from the Garden of Eden, from your innocence up to the throat. Can you let it open your throat, your creative portal? Can you let it open your voice so you can speak more of your truth into the world, so you can have more of your freest expression? Stirring the energy up into the throat. And then up further still into the third eye, to the forehead. Breathing the energy up into the forehead, into the face. Yeah. And then up into the crown. When you're ready, letting your cosmic crown illuminate your head. Feeling the sexual creative life force energy creating your cosmic crown. And from here, I want you to feel yourself as fully multi-orgasmic, full body orgasms, energy orgasms, whatever orgasms you're wanting to unlock in yourself. Feel that future self again. I want you to feel and imagine yourself as that future self through your third eye, and let all this energy go up into the quantum and connect with that future self. Letting this blossom out of your crown. Yes, 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 yes. Letting go of how it's going to happen for you. Trusting that it's all happening in your perfect timing, your soul's perfect alignment. Releasing it to the quantum. Yes. Oh. Letting the orgasmic waves or the pleasure waves ripple through you. It's okay if you can't access full body orgasm right now. You're teaching yourself the passageways. You're getting the transmission. It's coming for you. And beautiful if you can. Allow it to ripple through you. Can you let yourself surrender and surrender and surrender even more to what your body is showing you in this now moment? And now allowing this energy to just fall back inside you. You might want to take your hands and just wave them over yourself, feeding yourself with this energy, letting it all ripple back in, these higher self, future self frequencies, letting it all just come back into the body. Petting yourself with it, nourishing yourself, feeding yourself with it, everywhere it needs to go. So now from this space, you can wave the breath. This is the final step. You can imagine the breath and the energy coming from the genitals up to the crown and then back down again. Perhaps you picture it going up your backbone, up to the crown, inhaling up, exhaling back down. From the genitals to the perineum, to the anus, to the tailbone, up the spine, tongue on the roof of your mouth, bring it up to the crown, and exhale, let it drop down the front of your body like liquid golden honey. You can stir it in one direction in your abdomen, and then stir it in the other, and collect it and condense it and contain it in a little golden dragon's egg at the center of your energetic womb space or your womb space. Good, and you can do that again, breathing the energy up the spine, tongue in the roof of your mouth, eyes looking up, squeezing your PC muscles, pulling the energy up, 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 up. Exhaling, letting it waterfall down the front, nourishing yourself with the energy. Relaxing your genitals. And one more time. Deep inhale. Pull up on the PC muscles. Shoot the energy up your spine. Hold it up top. You can imagine it spiraling at your crown. You can hold the breath in this time. Hold it in as long as you can. Pulse the PC muscles. Spin the energy, spiral the other direction. Another sip of air. And then exhale and let it come down. Okay, good. Rubbing it into your tummy, into the lower dantian, this lower energy center in between your hips. The other direction, condensing and containing it, compacting it into a little dragon's egg or pearl in the center of your being. And just holding it there. You can hold one hand over your womb space, one hand over your heart. Thanking yourself for this practice. Thanking your sexual energy, your sex organs. Thanking your healed and whole ancestors for joining us in this practice. Thanking your future self for showing up so powerfully. Your future now self. Yeah. So I just want to let you know it's 8:46. We're a little over time as we started a little late with the technical difficulties. So if anyone needs to pop off, feel free to, but if anyone can stay and feels like they'd like to share their experience, I'm also going to share about an upcoming course that I have, but I also want to really maintain the sacredness of this space, and you don't have to stay and listen to the course if you don't want to, but you can if you want to. So, yeah. Tamara, do you want to share? Or Hope, sorry.
Sharing. No, not really. I think that this is something I'm gonna have to. Oh yeah, maybe I'm gonna work with a little, because I think I came up on a lot of emotions I didn't know were there, which is great because that was the point. So that was good.
Good. I should have mentioned, I'm mentioning it now, thanks for bringing it up. Sometimes when I do this practice, often when I do this practice, my orgasms are crygasms.
Yeah, that would be about right.
That's the release that wants to come through, and it's fucking profound. And congratulations.
Thanks, Anne.
Yeah.
Amy Ann, it's Tiffany.
Hi, Tiffany.
That makes so much sense. I'm always crying.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think today what I really learned is just a lot more blockage in my heart chakra that I'm letting go and letting out. Slowing down so then I could really just feel through it and let it go. And then what Hope said earlier, which I really loved, which was, surrendering to someone else. I think that was the two biggest things I took away from today. So thank you.
So good. Oh yeah, the future self could have been, I surrender to someone else, whatever it might have been for you. Beautiful.
Oh yes, that makes sense, because that's really what I was letting in. Like, yes.
Yes. Anyone else? Oh, Kimberly says here on the messages, thank you, Amy Ann. I cried as well while giving the unconditional love that I give to my daughters to my past self. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Mustafa.
Yeah, I cried. That was really good. It felt really good after, and the techniques are amazing. I felt it all over, and I ejaculated before you mentioned it.
That's okay.
But I kept going through the process, and it's really felt really powerful. amazing. I I unlocked something. I'm not sure what is it. I felt it, and it feels so good. Thank you so much, Amy. I'm so grateful. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you.
This was such a beautiful space. I can feel your hearts so much. And yeah, you look so joyful and stuff, like Kimberly says. Thank you for sharing. Yeah.
Thank
It
you.
just felt so sacred, so serene, so and the fact that it was, I actually really love that it was men and women. I think I need to like change it. I really love that. I think it's really important that we have these spaces. I think we need it for our healing.
Yeah, I agree.
Amy Ann, can I say something to that?
Please. Yeah.
So I found it very interesting because in a space without all women, and knowing that there were men, and it's fine. Like, I mean, this is very past trauma we're talking about, but it still affects my capacity to open up. And while I was doing the breathing, I realized like just how much stuff I have around men, and having this practice with men was great. It was great. It was knowing that there's men out there doing this and becoming safe men is like, I just wanted to say thanks to the dudes who showed up here because
I feel the same way.
I just want a safe man sometime ever would be super cool. So to know that they're becoming and is really beautiful. So I really appreciated the men in this group being there and knowing what we were all doing, and just knowing it was just really great. So I appreciated that there were men here. Thanks.
I feel it so strongly. I'm covered in chills. You were the right men to be here. It's such an honor to have you, knights and kings. Yeah. This is so important. And I think it's also important still to have all women's spaces at certain times, but for whatever reason, this needed to be as it was, and it's perfect. So
Yeah, no, thank you so much. I really like the mixed space. I know most of this work is for women's kind of groups only, and what I find with this is it offers such a wonderful balance. Like it's life. It's kind of like it's got the ebbs and flows of life, and I find that more powerful. I've been in all men's too. It's okay, but it's more warrior style, and that's okay to build one aspect of your masculine presence, but it's not life, right? So this is beautiful. So thank you all. Thank you, Amy Ann, for leading this.
I love you, Gino. You're amazing.
Thank you.
Anyone else want to share?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you so much. This was incredible. Like, I feel like, yeah, like this rekindled connection with myself that I felt that I was seeking. And it just felt like it was so meant to be. And yeah, just every part of it, like all the different layers and like the golden egg and just all these practices, like the hip thrusts with the, like, yeah, just imagining like breaking apart like some kind of limiting belief. All these things I'm so excited to continue to apply. I couldn't really like voice my pleasure just because there's like family members in another room, but I have a place that I can go to tomorrow, like this like remote beach where I can just be like naked, and
Wow.
amazing. Like nobody goes there, so I'm gonna like do this tomorrow. And
Where
yeah,
is
I really
that?
wanna thank
Where
you
is that,
so much.
Sophia? What country is that?
It's in Aruba. I'm in Aruba right now.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah, so just thank you. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you for all your magic and your energy and just you opening in this way. It helps the whole group. It's been so special. Yeah. So, yeah, now I get to share about a really exciting offering that I loving everyone smiles. Yeah, me too. I'm having some resistance in sharing this part because what we just did was so sacred, and I've resisted being like salesy or doing the funnel thing for so long. But I really believe that what I'm offering helps people. And so this is how I'm trying it out in this new way of this funnel thing. And yeah, so this is a sample. It stands alone and it's its own healing thing. And you can go away with this and it's going to change your life and practice this and you can have it for free. This is my gift to you. And if you want to go deeper in sacred community with sisters, I don't know if I'm going to open it to brothers yet. Maybe, let me think about that. It's possible, but intended for the sisterhood. It is going to start January 5th, and it's a 4-week course where we are going to go deep into these practices. And the first week is dedicated to orgasmic expansion. And I'm going to break down each of these recipe steps into single practices that you do every day. And then we put it all together at the end of the week. So you really get to build all the reps in the muscles and get it really ingrained in your nervous system. And then the second week is orgasmic alchemy. So there's going to be so much more of like transmuting that those dense you already guys are doing the orgasmic alchemy. It was happening to you today in the tears. And I'm going to give you more techniques for that. And we're going to go deeper into that. There's a different breath work that will clear you out at a DNA cellular level, the shit that's ready to go. And we're going to transmute that with pleasure and bliss. And you're going to make love to your shadow. You're going to make love to the things you're most ashamed of. It's fucking profound. This is how you change your life. The third week is orgasmic manifestation. And that is basically sex magic. And we touched on that today. You got a sample. You got a sample of it all today. But we're going to go really deep into how to manifest your highest aligned timeline with these energies and practices for that. And it will be all broken down. And then we're going to do it together in a group and just anchor like the best things for ourselves and the planet. And it's going to be our like pleasure prayer, as Emily Fletcher calls it, for the planet. And then the fourth week is a bonus. It's going to be a couple of things. So I'm going to teach the women, it's called Squirt School. I'm going to teach you how to unlock squirting orgasms. And I also am getting really excited about what I'm calling orgasmic creation, which is unlocking your artistic genius with orgasmic energy, and practices for using this energy and then going straight into an artistic practice. Yeah, so it's going to be a combo of Squirt School and then orgasmic creation in the fourth week. And so that is the course, and it's $590. It's a ridiculous price, $597 USD for 4 weeks. And all of you get the special deal of $200 off. It's $397 for 4 weeks. I wanted to make it extremely accessible. And yeah, I'm just so passionate and I want to spread it. And yeah, so you get it for $397 for the next 48 hours, basically. You can lock in that price. And there's also a payment plan you can do. I think I broke it down into 3 payments if you need to, 2 or 3 payments. Yeah, and to work with me one-on-one for my orgasmic healing method, it's $3,500 for 4 sessions, for a 4-session program. So this is ridiculous. The course itself is really worth like $1,800 or whatever, but Canadian. But I've made it super accessible. It's my first time running it with a group of people. I've run a lot of these in one-on-ones, but I'm just so ready to give it to the world, and I want to give it as a gift. So yeah. That's what I want to share with you. And you'll get an email with the details in it as well, along with the replay, which I'm sending out tomorrow morning. So yeah, let me know if anyone has any questions about any of that. Yeah.
You're awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
I was just looking on your website, like, are you going to be publishing this course? Like, where do people sign up?
Yes. Yeah. So you guys get the pre-order price, and like you get this, but you'll be getting an email with all this info in it, and you'll get the sales page and everything emailed to you through Launchware, my program that I'm using to do all this salesy stuff. It's Preston Smiles' program, and it's amazing. And I wouldn't have done it if I didn't trust Preston Smiles so deeply. And he really lives and breathes from his heart and gives his offerings from his heart because he knows that it helps people. And I'm like, all right, it's time. So here we are. Yeah.
That's an incredible price. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
People would be crazy not to take that.
Yeah. I don't think it will ever be this price again, but it's just literally what dropped in. And like, I'm listening to my soul. I'm trusting and listening to my soul. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do it. I want it to be. I feel like there's a lot of people that need it. And a lot of people have asked me for my programs and asked to work with me, and they just can't afford it. And so I'm like, it's like, this is my gift, and there it is. And I might, I might put it out as a pre-recorded thing eventually, but right now it's going to be live. Yeah. Always ask for the sales, sis. Yeah. Yeah, sweet. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm feeling it in my, like, I'm making space for this part of me, the masculine parts of me. It's good. Okay. Yeah, you're welcome for making it accessible. Really feeling it. You're super welcome. It's a joy.
Thank you. So yeah, looking forward to your email. I'll look out for that.
Okay, sounds good. Yay!
Thank you.
Yeah, you'll have till Sunday at 11:59 p.m. EST to get the cheaper price. Yeah. Yay! I'm so grateful to all of you. Thank you for being in Temple with me, co-creating the Temple space, and bringing all of you to this space, future, past selves, present self, your sacred sexual energy, your innocence, your inner children, the shadowy parts. Like, it's such an honor to hold this space with all of you. I feel lit up on every level of my being and super blessed. And I'm just so excited. I hope to work with each of you in future. I hope we get to keep being in Temple together.
So thank you, Amy, for everything. It's
Thank
wonderful.
you.
Thanks, Amen.
Yeah, it was a great
Yeah.
night. Thank you so much. Wishing you well.
Sending you guys
Have a
Thank
lovely
you.
night.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
blessings.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Love, love, love. Yay.
Appreciate it. I'm so grateful.
Yay.
Have a good one.
Mm.
Bye.
Bye. Yay.